if you're already notices it, because then there might be, and that couch might end up being new if they weren't notice it, but there you can just like put it in.
Like, we usually have very light rain, like drizzlings, but last Monday, that storm was super heavy, and I was trying to look out the window, but the water are all flowing down, like flushing down the window that I can't see through it.
Being from Florida, the weather's a lot different there than it is here. There it's 75, 80 degrees even on Christmas Day. I remember 2 years ago it was 80 degrees on Christmas Day. Sun is always shining. There's just too much sunlight over there. It's a little different from Greenville. Last week we had, it rained for over a week, and right when you thought it was over, more and more rain came down. So it's interesting.
The weather in Greenville is a little bit like Mother Nature is always PMSing, because like this past year we had snow on Halloween, and that was a hot mess. But then we also have had super duper cold days now that we're almost in May. And so a lot of times I'm really bad about going out in a little sundress, or I'll go out in shorts, and then I'll be like, damn, I'm really cold.
Sorry. North Village barbecue, block party, something like that. That, from what I understand, used to be a junior senior that people would just never go to. So they changed it to a more casual event where there was they had barbecue and shaved ice and a couple of bands out there. And one of my roommates is in the band, so I went out there and listened to it.
Yeah, my band's name was Jody's Barbershop, and we all kind of just got together just because we were mutual friends, and we had kind of messed around with music in the past. I don't play music, I just can sing all right, so they let me be in it too.
We walked all the way from John's Hall. We've been studying all day, and by the time we ended up getting there, we showed up about 10 minutes late, and we waited in line for about 5-10 minutes, and then we were told that they ran out of food. So I didn't eat.
Fire alarms will definitely show you someone's true colors when they are woken up at 3 in the morning and have to stand outside.
One time, it was me and a couple of my buddies, and we were freshmen, and we didn't know how to make ramen noodles.
My roommates and I, over spring break, we binge watched this show called Mind of a Chef, which is just basically follows around chefs in their day-to-day life.
We put them in, and we think like you cook it for it takes a while to cook noodles, so we thought 5 minutes. We didn't bother reading the package.
And one of my roommates, who I will not name, thought it would be a fun idea to try something that he saw on the show. So he went out into just a grassy knoll or whatever, and picked a bunch of dandelions and tried to fry them and make dandelion fritters or something. I don't know what he thought he was trying to do.
So we cook it and we leave for a second, and just smoke is just billowing out of our room, and the fire alarm is not going off.
But he set off the fire alarm for the whole building, and everyone was pretty upset with him for trying to cook dandelions.
When basically all the smoke is gone, the fire alarm just decides to go off then. We got in trouble, but I mean, if it was actually a fire, we all would have been toasted.
Stroll is definitely going to be one of those memories that I look back on my senior year and cherish. And I can't wait to tell my kids that their mom did a flip on stage, because I am uncoordinated, I can't do a cartwheel, but I flipped and it was great.
So I've been to Stroll all 4 years. The first 2 years I was actually dancing in it for Beta Theta Pi. And then these last 2 years I was a little too embarrassed to get on stage again, so I was mostly just watching from the audience. And it's amazing just to see how it's evolved, but how it stayed the same. Because with the guys, you see a lot of the same moves every year. This year, got a great experience watching KA do the exact same move that I got to learn my freshman year. But at the same time, a lot of the girls get out there, and no matter how creative they get, it really comes down to just kind of bending over and shaking their butts.
Being a participant in Greek life, it's something that's really cool to see everyone come together to kind of work on one thing, and everyone actually really takes it to heart and tries their hardest.
Nobody in my family has historically been in a Greek organization, so I was a little hesitant. I didn't know what it was about, and all I had seen was movies like House Bunny, which incorrectly portray what it's like, especially here at Furman. But freshman year, a lot of my friends were going through it, and I thought it would be a great way to meet people, and it totally was. Joining CAIO is probably one of the best things that I did here at Furman, and especially for my personal growth.
When I was a freshman, I got really involved in my fraternity chapter in Beta, and we were really small and pretty new. Even though I was a younger guy, I was able to get involved in the leadership early on, and then we really watched it grow. We've gained like 10 or 15 guys since then.
Devastating scene in Nepal and on Mount Everest. More than 2,000 are dead across the country, aftershocks shaking the region. So many people trapped in the rubble, climbers dead at Everest Base Camp, as we mentioned, and trapped up higher in the danger zone.
Amidst statistics and body counts, it is easy to be swallowed by the enormity of the crisis. And ironically enough, sometimes this makes it easier to distance ourselves from the heartache.
So the recent earthquake in Nepal that has also caused many horrifying aftershocks and things, killing now 5,000 people, and it just makes me think, especially at this critical point in my life, how precious life is and how you really never know what's going to happen. You could lose someone you love tomorrow. And so my goal in life is just to try and appreciate every moment that I have, wherever I am, because, you know, we're going out into the world soon, and as a global citizen, I want to maintain awareness of what's happening and try and empathize with others and never take life for granted, because it's a huge tragedy among other tragedies that are always going on. And so it really puts things into perspective.
People say that we live in the Furman bubble, and these past 2 weeks with what's happened in Nepal has really sort of shown me how much we do live in the Furman bubble. Yes, we've got raise money for Nepal, links on Facebook and hashtags on Twitter, but really everybody here is still in our little bubble, and it's amazing to see how protected and how cared for we are in such a wonderful college setting, while people in other parts of the world don't have those same safety nets.
I've been pretty fortunate, and my dad has been able to provide a safety net for me for most of my entire life. But as soon as I graduate, you know, that's about to disappear to an extent. And entering the world is a little scary. It's unpredictable. You don't ever know what you're going to get into. You never know when you could take a wrong turn and all of a sudden just, you know, your life can change completely.